is probably the most popular teenager in the world. But she reveals how even she had to overcome many of the same childhood traumas that every young kid goes through in her surprisingly intimate new book, which I have here. It's called Miles to Go. Please welcome Miley Cyrus.
How are you? Good.
I thought it was going to be hot today.
I know. Well, it's California. Well, literally.
Yeah, well, nice to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.
The last time I saw you was in your house. Your grandmother was there.
Yeah, hi, Mammy.
Yeah, that's great. Remember what happened?
We had a toilet incident.
Yeah, because of us.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay.
Toilets are okay, Grandma? Maybe?
We had a little spillage, but it wasn't me.
It
was her people.
It was us. Okay. In any event, when we were there last year, you did Academy Award. My mouth is so cold I can't talk. And you were very happy. Everything was great. Family was great. School was great. So obviously there was a lot that you were keeping back. Because
yes.
It wasn't always such a perfect childhood.
Right. Which I kind of like explain in my book mostly because I felt like that was a time that I could say more of what I want to say without, you know, people taking only quotes. It's easy for magazines to look at different interviews and different things that I do and pull quotes. So this was one where I had complete and total control, and I was writing with Hillary Lifton, who totally only wanted the best for me and wanted me to say what I needed to say. So I felt like it was a perfect time kind of to put everything, and, you know, everything is great, and I live like a great life, and I'm definitely not complaining, but, you know, it's definitely something that was hard. Like, growing up wasn't as easy as it seems.
Do you still have your own wing in your own house?
Yes. I love that.
That is a dream.
Except my brother is next door and just two little rooms over, and he just got a drum set. It is torture. I hate it. He's like banging on it. I'm like, you know, can you just like chill out? It's like, you know, 11 o'clock. Like, I'm trying to sleep. If it was you, you wouldn't get in trouble. You can blast your music all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, just like relax.
There's
my
your
brother's
next book.
crazy.
Sibling rivalry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I love my brother. But
in the book, you're very honest, and I think a lot of teens will relate to the things you've gone through. One thing you talk about, honestly, is in the 6th grade when you were living in Nashville, right? You were being bullied, and it got to a pretty bad point. I mean, it was named, you call it Operation Make Miley Miserable, is what was going on. So who was bullying you? What was really happening? And how bad did it get?
Well, the reason that I chose to talk about it was because I definitely didn't want to, you know, like scare kids, especially the ones that were reading this sometimes haven't gone through that yet, haven't been to middle school or been to high school, so they didn't get it. So I kept it pretty I kept it detailed, but still kind of like vague without getting too specific and too like scary. But it was just more of me trying to tell kids that what I don't want to happen is them get to that point that I was at. I mean, like I say one thing, like getting locked in the bathroom. That's something that is really scary, but it's definitely not the worst thing that ever happened. There was times where, you know, so many different people would get involved, and it just got really difficult. So
did you go to a teacher? I forget how.
I went to, well, my dad was being a snoop and heard me on the phone, and he went to the principal, and then it turned out that, you know, there had been past things before, and so then it started getting too big, and I'm like, you know, I'm ready. I don't want to start getting involved with police and all this stuff. I want to like back out, you know. And so then I start getting scared, and then, you know, that's kind of the best thing to do, honestly, is like don't be scared to be scared.
Were you the only one that was getting picked on, or were other girls too?
I was the main one, but there was definitely other things, and I think most of it was a lot of like the whole, you know, well, we'll keep you safe, because they were the bigger girls, they were the tough girls, so we'll keep you safe if you're not friends with Miley, and this and that. And I remember this one day, it was lunchtime, and we had assigned seats because it was like, you know, things were getting so out of control that people weren't even allowed to sit near each other. And it was assigned seat day, and you could choose your assigned seat, but wherever you sat, that was where you were for the rest of the year, and no one sat with me. So for the rest of the year, I sat alone every day. And so that's the scariest part, just being alone.
Yeah. Do you think they were just jealous of you because your father was rich and famous?
Well, that's kind of like the way I think about it now, but you never think of that when you're in the situation.
Sure.
You had said that, you know, when you found out you were going to be Hannah Montana, you wrote that you were thinking, get me out of here, get me away from these girls. And then you said that it felt like God had saved you from an impossible situation. So now that you are on Hannah Montana, you've had your success, is there anything you'd like to say to those girls who bullied you?
And you know what? I was just saying, I was always put in the stinking back in drama, and they were always put up in the front.
Yeah.
And I would get so mad. I'm like, why am I not getting cast for the lead? I know I can do this. I know I can do this. And so, ha, ha, ha. I got my own show.
Let me ask you this, because there's also a huge problem now with cyberbullying.
Yeah.
So do you have advice for kids who are being bullied, and what would you say to fans of yours who are doing the bullying?
First of all, I think it's all, you know, like you said, I think it's all kind of like a jealousy and almost like a pride thing. And I think it always goes back to the house and the way you're raised and the family. And I feel like, you know, if you feel like your parents are real tough and you don't have anyone to talk to, you have to take it out on, you know, on other kids and whatever. And don't be the tough one. Don't be the strong one, because you're only going to get hurt later, because you don't want to be there 30 or 40 years later, you know, and sitting there being like, oh, you know, I could have had such a great childhood and I missed out on it. And like mostly girls, just the internet is not your friend no matter what. Is just, you know, just be careful. The internet's definitely scary. And even my little sister, she's 9 and just tried to get a MySpace, and I went on there and like deleted it because it's just not safe. Just don't do it.
Well, we want you to stay with us, particularly because you also write about the love of your life. I think I interviewed the love of your life just recently. We'll
We'll be back.
talk about it. Molly, stay with
Your
us.
legs.
I know.
Chicken
I know. I'm freezing. I'm like,